OTC stocks have been hot lately. I mean, crazy hot. I don't know if I remember a run like this in probably 5+ years. Probably 2012, 2013, last time it was this hot. So today, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of trading these OTCs. Hey everyone, Lead Trainer with Stocks to Trade, Tim Bowen here. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share these videos with your friends. And if anything I talk about today, if I mention some term, some jargon, some concept, any of these things, maybe they go over your head, definitely check out that link to the Steady Trade team. It's a mentorship program where I go live twice a day. Every single day, there's over 2,500 archived webinars, all searchable. I use Evernote to keep track of everything. You can index everything. It's just a great way to learn trading, so check out the Steady Trade team. All right, so OTCs, it's kind of the Wild West out there, and we've done videos on the difference, what makes an OTC versus what we call a listed stock that's on the NYSE or the NASDAQ. There's a lot of intricacies, that regulations, etc. That's not necessarily what we're going to talk about today. Today I'm going to talk about specifically what to look for in OTCs, and then also things to be cautious of. So let's get right into it. Let's start. Sometimes I'm kind of a negative Nancy. I'm an old school short seller. So let's start with the negatives. Let's start with the downside. So number one, right off the bat, they're not as regulated as NASDAQs and NYSE. I mean, they can be years behind on their SEC filings. I mean, there's very, very, very limited regulatory oversight in the OTCs. Okay, I mean, it's like I always I always think of like the OTCs as like that. If you're watching some crime movie or something, or a Magnum PI episode possibly, and there's like this sleepy security guard, and everyone just kind of walks by him. That's kind of what it's like in regulation in the OTC markets. Now, I'll double back to this, but that can also be an advantage, okay? That sleepy security guard and lack of regulation are one of the reasons that these things do what they do. So I'll come back to that. The other thing is, the liquidity really can be turned on and off very quickly. I mean, I've got this stock CBDD on screen right now. You can see this is one of the hottest right now, going from let me do the math, 1/1000th of a penny to today up to 3 cents in a matter of a couple weeks. Thousandths of a penny to 3 cents. I'll have the team drop the percentage on the video because I'm too dumb to calculate 1/1000th of a penny to 3 cents. So anyway, so you can see they have big moves, and you see the volume comes in. But in OTCs, man, when that music stops, the musical chairs, the liquidity just goes away. I mean, people just rush to the exits. So that's one of the biggest things. You got to be keeping an eye on these positions, because if this thing goes back, before the spike, it's trading 18 million shares a day at 1/1000th of a penny. That's not many shares. If that liquidity goes all the way back there, you may have real trouble unwinding your position, exiting your position, because there's just no buyers left. Remember, for you to sell your position, somebody's got to be willing to buy it. You need that liquidity. This goes back to kind of the first point, just less transparency. I mean, the filings are worthless. You can't really know. I mean, you go to try and figure out the business. Lots of times they don't have web pages that work. It's just they're a mess. So you're really trading price action at the end of the day. With OTCs, you can't really look at the fundamentals. You can't look at the balance sheets, because if there is a balance sheet, it might be a year old, and who knows, it's probably forged or something. So you just don't really have that ability to actually get a good read on the business. It's more just price action trading only. And then the last drawback is fees. Okay, OTC as of today. Okay, I'm recording December 4th, 2020. As of right now, you might know a ton of brokers have gone commission-free trading. Keep in mind, that's on listed stocks. That's on NYSE and NASDAQ. As far as I know, now there might be some obscure broker out there, There is no commission-free trading in OTC land as of now. So you're back to paying commissions, which nobody likes to do. And then also, that being said, not only are you paying commissions, but you're paying a lot higher commissions on these OTCs. They're riskier for the brokers, so they charge you higher fees. It's simple at the end of the day. And keep in mind, these are not fully electronic trading, so there's humans involved, so that drives up the fees. So just keep that in mind. That's something that people don't necessarily realize is you'll trade these things and you get done, unwind your trade, get your account statement, and you're like, whoa, that's a pretty big number. And then other thing kind of related, a lot of the free brokers, again, as of now, maybe you're trading with Robinhood. As of today, Robinhood doesn't allow OTC trading. So you may just be completely locked out of these. So I want you to keep that in mind. All right. Did I scare you enough? Okay. So let's pivot over to the good thing about OTCs. Number one, they're very loosely regulated. Okay. Now I know that was my first con, but that's also that's probably out of everything. That's probably one of the biggest pros of them is, I mean, again, look at this move on CBDD, TSNP. You'll remember I did a morning panic dip buy on TSNP. I mean, these things make moves, huge moves, because they are so manipulated at the end of the day. I mean, pump and dumps. The traditional pump and dump doesn't really exist like it used to, but these stocks are all manipulated. And when you see that steadily uptrending chart with good volume, closing at the high of the day, they right now keep in mind, right now, OTCs are hot. They tend to gap up. They tend to run the next day, just like CBDD did. This was our number one. Actually, let me jump over and show you my notes. So as of the market close webinar, yesterday afternoon, and I said it right here, 3:41 p.m., CBDD, weed stock, and classic OTC gapper. Look at that. It's still up 65%. At one point, it was up 70-80% at one point. Wait, no, more than that. Yeah, these dang true penny stocks. Anyway, it's way off of its highs, and it's still up 60-70%, was up even more. And the cool thing was, again, what's great about the Steady Trade team, it was called out in the webinar. If you live, you get access to these notes. We called out that OTC gapper. So that's the nice thing about these is the lack of regulation and the big moves. That's the number two is, listen, I'm mostly a NASDAQ guy. We get NASDAQ runners, 100%, 200% runners, but we don't, very seldom do you get multi-1,000% runners like you do in the OTCs. The moves are just so much bigger, and that's one of the biggest pros. And then the third real pro is they're almost all very, very low price stocks. I'm guessing most of you are newer traders. So, listen, it's hard. As much as I love Tesla, I go on and on about Tesla every day. If you got a small account, you can't trade a $400 or $500 stock, or even before the split. Tesla was $2,000 a share. Even if you got a $500 account, how you going to trade that? You may love the stock, but you can't even get one share, or maybe you buy one share and Tesla makes a huge move and you make $10 or something. It's just, that's the tough thing. One of the best things about OTCs, especially for small accounts, you got a $500 account, $1,000 account, $5,000 account, you can buy a boatload of shares to get a big position, and then you catch that big move. So, that's the biggest pros, is the size of the moves, the lack of regulation, the fact that they're manipulated, and they're low priced. Okay, so I will wrap up kind of as I began, and I just want you to be aware, this is a classic make hay while the sun shines. Okay, so OTCs, they almost look like a pump and dump chart when it comes to how often they move. We're into about a 6-month run right now. So what I want you to do, and this might be the biggest takeaway, is always be focusing on liquidity, okay? You got to be running all your scans, scanning for high volume breakouts, okay? You can, again, look at CBDD 2 days ago, traded 1 billion shares, okay? That's what you're looking for. It traded 1 billion shares. That's why it gapped up the way it did. So don't be duped by the chart. You might see a chart that looks just like CBDD, but if it doesn't have that kind of volume, it's more likely to fail, go sideways, gap down, stop you out. High volume breakouts. And then the other way to trade these is, the great thing is you've got that afternoon pattern, that OTC swizzle pattern, which I love that name. I believe Jack Kellogg coined that. It's a core setup for Kyle Williams. A lot of the guys that are on the Steady Trade team, they're on the podcast. That's one of their favorites, that afternoon OTC swizzle, that gapper, I call it. I'm an old man. I don't have cool names like they do. And then the other great setup is that morning panic dip buy, which is a core setup for our friend Tim Sykes. I first started learning from Tim 15 years ago, and if I had to, I hate to put words in his mouth, but if I had to pick his number one setup the last 6 months or so, it's that morning panic dip buy in an OTC. So you can trade him in the morning, you can trade him in the afternoon because the patterns are there. So, all right, everyone, have a great day. Hopefully I didn't scare you away from OTCs, but I just, I like to lean towards caution, okay? These stocks, again, they morning panic a lot. They can make crazy moves because of that lack of regulation, but this will be, maybe write this down. Know what you own, okay? So if you watch this video, then know what you own. As I mentioned earlier, these are just price action plays. These are not investments, okay? I don't want, you can, listen, I go live on the pre-market prep every day. If you come on the pre-market prep and you're talking to me about swing trading a bag holder OTC, that's when I start throwing stuff, okay? You're trading price action. These are not investments. These are not long-term holds, okay? That being said, drop me a comment. Have you been bagged in an OTC? Because, man, so many people don't recognize it. They fall for the story, and now they're holding some illiquid thousandth of a penny stock 6 months later. Have you been bagged in an OTC? Let me know. And then that being said, check out the Steady Trade team. As I said, any of this stuff that maybe went over your head or you didn't quite grab, every day, hour-long webinar, 45-minute long webinar. I can really get in depth. It's a small group. I answer every single question live every day. So, all right, have a great day, everyone.